Dashboard Confessional?
They were way more emo than Dashboard Confessional.
But it was like a guy, like Chris Caraba's Dashboard Confessional. How can you be more
Dude, they
emo
were.
than Dashboard
Their one
Confessional?
song started, and it's like, my tears run down like razor blades. Like, that's literally the first,
Oh my
I
God.
swear. That's
These were
the first
grown
line.
men writing these songs. Anyway, this is a band called Jimmy Eat World, who I don't
who they
know
are.
that we've heard from them in a while. It's a brand new song they dropped. It's called Something Loud. I think they're from Phoenix. I think Jimmy Eat World are a Phoenix band.
I believe.
Mesa, Arizona. We've got
1993 they formed.
We've got Bureau Chiefs out there.
Do you have their Wikipedia page up, or are you just
No,
a huge fan?
I am a huge fan, but also I was on the Rock Hall website looking for tickets because Pants did a poster for the Rock Hall because they're playing at the Rock Hall September 8th.
Oh.
Yeah,
So,
Jimmy Eat World is
just
going
fresh in my mind.
They're starting the tour here in Cleveland. They're going to do Rock Hall Live, which is what they just play out at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, like out in the thing there. Is that what that
like
is?
the atrium area. I think.
Yeah. So September 8th is when Jimmy Eat World will play out there at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And yeah, I like those guys.
Who's the?
They don't often go by their initials. That probably would just invite all kinds of comments that they're not looking for. But yeah, Jimmy Eat World, for people who are fans of that band, they're going to kick off the tour right here in Cleveland over at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on September 8th. I would imagine those tickets will probably go very, very quickly.
I think there's still a few
It's a popular
available.
band.
Yeah, but I love them. I've been a big fan of them since the late 90s, early 2000s. Go back all the way. When they released Bleed American, that album is top to bottom awesome.
Mm-hmm. Well, but remember that they had to change the name of the album
For a little
because
while,
of 9/11?
yeah.
Because it came out that summer before 9/11, and then everybody was flipping out. I think they just made it a self-titled
I think the self-titled for a while, but then I think they went back to Bleed American after like a year or so. Because I have it on vinyl as Bleed American.
But that was the big one for them. That was one that had the middle and the sweetness, right?
Yeah.
That was the big one. And that one's 20 years old.
There's a YouTube video of one of the main guys in Jimmy Eat World. I don't know their names, so I don't have their Wikipedia up, Mary. But
Jim Adkins is the front man.
Sure.
He was watching a video of Prince doing the middle at one of Prince would just have these shows, and he played the middle, and he's like, I love this song, and just went into it, and the dude's like, I can't believe Prince is playing a song that I wrote.
Right.
That's cool.
That'd be insane.
Yeah.
That'd be, yeah. I was watching that video from the Rock Hall induction. I think it was May 2001 or something. Where it was
When Prince got in?
well when they did My Guitar Gently Weeps with Tom Petty.
Oh, yeah.
And Steve Winwood and Prince and just a whole bunch of dudes up there, and then Prince just starts ripping a solo at the end, and it's so fantastic.
That was one of the last good all-star jams they
Yeah.
had at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Because last handful of times I've gone, I can't recall one that they did, because by the end of the night, everybody's hammered.
Mm-hmm.
And more, these acts are like, I don't want to have to go back out there and do John Bon Jovi.
I'm here to hang out.
I'm here to hang out and drink and say hi to people I know.
They changed from the All-Star Jam to the All-Star Jelly, and it all just fell apart from there. It's probably a good thing my website doesn't work. No one can access my tickets.
BillSquire.com to get tickets.
Mary Santora, professional comedian, is going to be performing with Bill Squire, by the way, who you might have, you know him from.
This show.
This show, pretty much.
Could you do defer aunts instead of defer uncles? What was it? You know him from
Forbear
Forbear Aunts or Forbear Uncles?
Forbear.
Guys,
Right, yes.
if
You know,
you're
there's a lot
in-
going on. Listen.
If you're in Willoughby or Lorraine, are you going to get your share of puns?
Mm-hmm. We never met a pun we didn't like. It's okay.
All-Star Jellies.
Yeah, but within
And many more to come.
within the pun universe, there exist all kinds of potential entrepreneurial opportunities. Because every product now that comes out, it's always based on a pun.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I'm starting a jam company. Oh, what's it going to be called? It's never called like Cuyahoga County
Jams.
Jellies or Jams, right? It's always
What?
I don't know, Black Betty Bramble Jam or something. Somebody always makes
I would
something
buy that,
up.
but
That
I would
yeah,
buy that.
I would too. Sounds delicious. So Jimmy Eat World going to start their fall tour. They haven't put out an album in a few years, but the new one is forthcoming. That new song is called Something Loud. You'll probably hear it here on MMS. For people who want to leave voicemail messages for us, you can certainly do that. The After Hours line is still up. It's 216-986-8903.
Hey, Alan, it's Matt. Hey, Bill's not actually that far off with his Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, Santa Claus is Coming to Town. That's fairly early Springsteen. That was like mid-'70s. That was long before like the Born in the USA stuff. I mean, he was popular, but it's still reasonably early Springsteen, so he actually has a little bit of a case there. First CD that I was given was a little bit of a weird pick by a grandparent for a kid in like the 6th or 7th grade, but it was actually pretty good. But it was Harry Connick Jr., Blue Light, Red Light. I still have it, actually. It's still sitting in a drawer somewhere, but, it's okay. And then first CD that I bought was Pocket Full of Kryptonite by the Spin Doctors.
Oh, wow. Pocket Full of Kryptonite. That's not bad.
That's a great album.
I mean, to Matt's point, Bill likes to point out, Bill's our local historian here when it comes to
The Boss.
MMS, The Boss, yeah.
Mostly just The Boss.
And that Santa Claus is Coming to Town was the song that made him a global superstar. He hadn't really done anything before that. So Matt is kind of underscoring that point.
And what can I say? I know my rock history. Do we still have you got the thing? Poundcake?
I don't know where it is.
What hit thing does he have?
I do. I think it's at home, though.
Oh, the rock trivia?
I have
Okay.
it, but it's at home. It's like with
Okay.
all the stuff I brought from the things that I didn't forget. Unlike your tripod.
And I have heard not a peep, by the way, on the bureau chief map.
Wow.
Not a peep.
Because it's in someone's basement.
I don't even think it's that. I think
got
I've
trashed.
really still racked my brain over it. I just don't know why somebody would take that off the wall and trash it. Because the halls at Oak Tree
We're full of trash.
were full of garbage. I
I
mean,
just don't understand how the thieves lasted that long, because it had to be someone we know, because they're just...
I don't know that it was somebody we know, because if it was somebody we know, I assume they would have emailed me and said, hey, man, I've got your map.
But they want it, so I think they're just stealing for the sake of stealing, just because...
Nobody wants that map except me.
We say that, but there have been things that come up missing periodically through our time at Oak Tree, and we never knew who was stealing them. We always blamed it on like the cleaning people, or like maybe one of the overnight board ops. But so slowly those people dwindled. Cleaning people didn't come up to our floor anymore. We didn't have any more board ops. So who else was left that was stealing things?
But that's
Things were still coming up missing.
But that's my point. By the time we got out of there a week ago, it was a ghost ship. It was us and Corey Roddick.
All the more reason.
But Corey's not going to.
I didn't say
No
it was
one's going
Corey.
to take. But that's what I'm saying. The list
Weird of you to accuse Corey Roddick of that, Poundcake. It's real strange. Why would you say that?
Well, he has the right, since Alan jacked him of his mic. It was his last pride and joy. And he was just like, you know what? He probably cried on the way to work that day. And he was just like, I just want to give my one final send-off.
He took it and set it on fire.
And literally, he comes in.
Well, I didn't jack his mic.
boom
I
arm.
took the boom arm off, but the mic and the cords were still intact. He could have done the handheld thing.
Make his job so much harder. He just wanted to come in and have like one final show, and you
Right.
took that from him.
Well,
So he's
join
like,
the club.
Bitch, I'm gonna take your
Sure.
map. Corey,
What I think
That
of you,
actually
Alan.
is not that far-fetched.
yes, I'm gonna take your map. You
It
took my
couldn't
pride.
be farther fetched.
No.
Wait till I see him. I'm gonna...
You won't find it.
He's hanging out with Jesse. I'm like, Jesse.
I see him every morning. He's got a hell of a poker face. If I have seen him every morning,
He
and
makes eye
he's
contact with you.
yes, I talk to him.
It would be great. That would make it so much better if he's like, oh yeah, I totally have it, dude. You never
Or if we
asked.
just or if I just come in here one morning and it's in the studio.
Sorry, bro. Took your map.
But
Sorry,
it's got
bro.
the faint smell of urine on it because he wanted to
Yeah.
send a message.
Oh God, I would love that. I would
Like
love
when Mo
Corey.
wanted to redo Mo. Daddy, this place smells like tinkle. Yeah, no, listen, I the list of suspects has got to be near zero.
Well, you're not thinking
That's
of
why
getting rid of
it's-
the dank, are you? The dank.
That's why I'm so vexed and continue to be. Because There's no value to that whatsoever. It's not like a listener was walking and it was like, I'm going to snag the bureau chief map as a goof. It's just, why would somebody take that off the wall? Leave everything else unless they knew it was going to drive me crazy. And nobody could know that. I could have just as easily been like, I don't care. I've got the list of people. I'll just digitize the map, which is the plan anyway. But to just have it missing, it really is. I need a Benny Blanc on this case because it's so strange. Because if it was somebody we knew, A, nobody we know would have taken it. B, let's say they did, they would have apprised me of it. They would have said, hey, man.
I don't think
so. That leaves people who are in the building to clean up. And nothing else was cleaned up. At least not as of when it went missing.
I just think
I can't even say it went missing.
You give people a lot of credit. That's all I'll say.
For what?
You just think that people are
No,
good
I don't.
just...
I don't give people credit. But I can apply logic to the situation and say that there's no reason somebody would randomly take that.
And that's the reason
unless
why
they were
people
throwing
would
it,
take it.
Unless they were throwing it into. Yeah, but would you? Let's pretend you're a rational person. Would you randomly take something you didn't care about just to abscond with it?
Because I know that you won't think that someone took it. It's so obscure and meaningless that.
But it's not obscure and meaningless.
People would never.
Just to them it is. To me it's not. But to anyone who might take it, there'd be no reason to. The blacklist was on cardboard that was on the wall. I took that down. I have the blacklist. It's in my garage. I took it off the wall.
That's gonna look weird if someone has to go to your
and go
garage.
In your garage.
like they're just like, why do you get a list of black people's names, dude?
Oh, not only that, I got that cardboard cut out of my head that they put at Progressive Field when they had no audience for the COVID games.
He's got his own face and 500 black people's names.
Yes. When you open up my
God.
garage door,
you know what if you
just
did,
me staring back at me.
If you did have the map, they would think that the pin is each of the people.
That's my map of black folks who listen to the show around the country.
This might be a blessing in disguise, actually.
No, the blacklist is actually in my basement. My stuff is scattered all over. It's an office. I would have never guessed that much stuff was in my office, but as it turns out, it's like when you move from an apartment to anywhere else, you go, oh my God, how do I have this much crap? Mm-hmm. So obviously this map thing doesn't consume my thoughts, but boy, it's one of those things where it's like, I just want to know. I just want to know what happened to it. Even if somebody's like, hey, I have it, I would say, keep it.
You
I
just
just
want to know
what
what happened.
Remember the movie The Vanishing? There was this Dutch director named George Sleezer who made a movie called The Vanishing about this guy whose girlfriend goes missing. They're on a road trip. Girlfriend goes missing when she goes in to use the bathroom at a rest stop. Never comes out. And he can't figure out, and he's consumed by this. And he goes on for years, and he's living his life, but he's consumed by what happened to his girlfriend. The director remade his own movie. He made it with Jeff Bridges and Kiefer Sutherland years later. I don't know how he made such a great movie, but then remade it, and it was terrible. Or not as good, I should say. It's still kind of a wild movie. If you talk about Jeff Bridges' movies, The Vanishing. It was early Sandy Bullock. She's the girl that goes missing before anybody really knew who she was. It's like that. He spends the whole movie and he finally tracks down the guy he suspects of kidnapping his girlfriend. But the guy won't tell him what he did. He's like, the only way you'll know is if you agree to go through what she went through. And then I'll tell you. So there's drugging and burying and this whole thing, That's what it is. The bureau chief map is my Sandy Bullock.
You're going to go through everything that it went through.
Yes. I have to fill you full of push pins.
Hang you by a string?
That's right. Because people are like, oh, I bet Charlie grabbed it. Or I bet Dieter put it on eBay. I go, listen, God bless him. I go, but literally, it has no value to anyone other than me. It has no value. It's just a silly thing we threw up on the wall.
Yeah.
That's why it's so confusing to me. Be different if it was something that, Bill had a pair of sneakers in the studio and somebody snagged them. I get that.
When the laptop was stolen.
Yeah. I mean, all the Rover stuff, they auctioned to people, right? They sold it. I don't have anything like that. It was just my crap in my office. But that bureau chief map, it wouldn't, and I wouldn't have even, I was going to put it in here.
You're not allowed.
I'll tell you what I'm not allowed to do. They're going to find out what I'm not allowed to do. You just wait until I hang Christmas lights in this window, Mary.
Just half.
Yeah.
One half angle.
I mean, I pulled the Christmas lights down from the Oak Tree studio when I moved everything out. I
Mhm.
figured it would just be, why not?
Leave
right?
them there for the next tenant.
Maybe someone's kid had a project for school and needed a giant map and walked in and said, hey, free map.
Look at that. How wonderful.
I mean, that could be. By the way, I got the first email this morning that my daughter's elementary school had their first lockdown drill this
Oh, my
morning.
goodness.
That was fun. What a good
Well,
time.
at least it's just a drill.
Just a drill.
So-
Oh, yeah. I was always freaking out because I would get not every week, but every other week, I would get, I was on the text chain for my older daughter's high school. They were always having lockdown at this school. I'm like, how is it in 2022 that people can just walk into a high school? Because her high school didn't have metal detectors or anything. And 9 times out of 10, it was like some kid walked in from another school trying to start some crap with his girlfriend or whatever, you know? But I was like, how can people just walk in to high schools? Like places around the country that have a history of violence now, high schools. There are like restaurants you can't get into unless somebody pushes a button. Like a dentist's office, they got to push a button and let you in. High schools, yep, we'll just see what happens.
Well, who's going to pay for the button, Alan?
I'll pay for the button.
All of them? That's a lot of buttons.
Hmm.
Didn't think about that, did you?
No, and listen, most things I don't think about.
I got into this argument with my boyfriend a couple weeks ago. He was bitching about the roads and saying, what's all my tax dollars going to? And I said, you do realize that everyone's tax dollars just don't go to roads. There's other
What does he
things
mean?
that
He was
goes-
mad about construction?
No, that they're potholes and stuff.
Oh, I see. Because
So-
people are equally mad when construction happens. And they have the sign that says, your tax dollars at work.
Right.
You're
They sure
damned
do.
if you do. People are like, why is there so much construction?
So then I'm like,
Because you complained about the potholes.
I was like, okay, but you do know that it goes to like education and NASA and this, like all this money doesn't just go into the roads. And he goes, well, if they're not going to fix the roads, why don't they take our money and make schools safer? And I said, why don't you explain to me what you mean by that? And he was like, I don't know, put like cops or police officers, security guards or metal detectors at every school. And I was like, at every school in America, you want them to have a $3,500 metal detector at every single school. Where's that money going to come from? And I was like, is it going to come from NASA? Is it going to come from the FDA? Is it going to come from the EPA? Like, where do you think
Oh,
this
you mean
money...
where will the money? No,
Right.
when people vote on levies in their town.
Right.
People vote with their wallets. They always say that, right? As much as all these people, kids are great. Obviously, they're making all that up. When a school levy goes up, school tax increase, people go, no,
Nope.
I
Well,
don't
and
have
that was the
kids.
thing.
Not my kids. I don't
Screw
care
other
about
people.
that.
I don't have
Yeah.
kids. Why should I have to?
That
And
would
it's
so be me.
your.
That's Cody, the one who's voting down the levy.
Okay,
Me.
listen, okay. I'm just saying that, like, you can't have it both ways.
Well, this was the point I was trying to make to him. I was like, the taxes that come out of your paychecks are allocated for other things.
We're trying to live in a society here.
He's like, just take the taxes from NASA and give them
Not
out
from
to
NASA, from the
schools.
military industrial complex. Our defense budget is so overinflated. That's where we can get the money from.
Nope, we gotta have the best weapons.
Well, I
We
saw
already
that.
got 'em.
But this is
I
what
want the
I'm
better.
saying. This is what I'm saying. If schools are going to be de facto military zones,
Yeah.
then let's fund them
Then
appropriately.
fold them into it. Yeah, just make schools part
Just
of
a
that.
part of the
Yeah.
military defense
I
is
mean,
also schools.
We just made up Space Force out of thin air. Let's make up a military arm of public schools.
And then he goes, well, it doesn't have to be every year. I was like, so every other year they get
Yeah.
security?
The kids are safe every
They
other
did a
year.
bang
Yeah.
up job at Uvalde, Texas.
And
So
he's getting increasingly frustrated. And I was like, I asked you like 2 backup questions, man. It's not as easy as take money from this place
is
and give it to that place.
this conversation leading to the fact that all this frustration led to you guys having sex? Is that what you're trying to tell us in a
No.
very circuitous fashion?
We went to brunch after that, actually. We were on our way to Lakewood, and he was not happy with the roads between Berea and Lakewood. So that's how it started.
How long of a trip is that?
25 minutes.
25 minutes.
Slapping sounds.
The kid was in the backseat, dude.
Yeah, that's gross, Mary.
Slapping
So sick.
sounds.
God, somebody called DCFS. Holy cow.
But with the roads being all bumpy, I can see why I guess we could get so turned on.
None of this was about sex. Alan said put in a
All it
button.
takes is bumpy roads.
He's trying to relate.
Yeah.
Alan said put in buttons. And I said my boyfriend
got her
says
jumblies
take the
going.
money from NASA. Bill works there.
No, I don't. I just shopped there.
I've got to take a break. If you'd like to text 35192, I will have Mushroom Head Halloween tickets for you. Boy, if you've never been to a Mushroom Head Halloween concert, you should go this year. It's at the Agora on October the 29th. It's a Saturday night. I'll hook you up coming back. 35192 if you want to text, and we'll be back after these.
The Alan Cox Show.
On our free iHeartRadio app and your favorite smart device. Just tell it to play The Alan Cox Show on iHeartRadio.